Hello, welcome to this quick video guide on ApolloBoot SOLO release 9.2. ApolloBoot SOLO is intended for those users who want to do a full AmigaOS 3.x installation on their Apollo V4 device. And in this video I'm going to show you how. The only thing you will need, besides of course an Apollo V4 device, is a CF card to install AmigaOS 3.x on, an SD card, micro SD, would be a regular. I have my V4 equipped with a full-size SD, so that's also an option. It will contain the source files, and of course the source file cells, you have to obtain them from the different sources. I will get into that later. So first things first, what we need is ApolloBoot SOLO. The files are available from the new ApolloVampireLayer.com website. It's a community website where all Apollo software becomes available to you if you become a subscriber. And if you become a subscriber, you support the development of Apollo software in the future. So it's like an ecosystem where 100% of all revenue made by the subscriptions by you will be reinvested into Apollo software development, and that software titles will become available again on this platform. So it's a win-win situation, I guess, for everyone. That's why I also joined with ApolloBoot this platform. So if you have become a subscriber, you can browse around on the site and see what the layer has to offer for the members, but you can also go to the shop, and in the shop you will find all the software titles that you can download. And of course we will focus now on ApolloBoot. So I click ApolloBoot, I see all the different ApolloBoot family members, and now I will click ApolloBoot SOLO because I want to do solo. Because we are already a member, we can just download it. We can also do a donation extra on top of it to even support more Apollo software development. For now, this demo, I will say €0. I can check it out, and after checking out, I will get access, after clicking view content, to the file downloads. That's the CF card image, the SD card content, and the guide. The guide is very important. It will really help you to do the installation. So close this one down. I'm ready now with the Vampire layer, and let's go to the download folder on my computer, and you will see it's almost completed now. It is completed. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unzip the CF card image. I'm going to unzip the SD card archive zip file. And as you can see, after unzipping, it will give you a nice structured layout where we have folders for the AmigaOS source files. And we have an install folder for some additional iBrowse, Roadshow, or MUI keys if you have them. And there's a Kickstart folder where ApolloBoot will provide you with a special UAE emulator ROM to run ApolloBoot on. And we have pre-configurations of the UAE for either FSUAE or WinUAE. So this brings us to the next topic, the installation. For the installation, we will need the source files. And the source files you can obtain from different locations. Of course, for AmigaOS 3.1, we have the Cloanto website, Amiga Forever, where you can buy the license and download all the virtual floppy disks you need for installation. Excuse me. It's a little cold. And for AmigaOS 3.2, you can go to the Hyperion website or go to one of the Hyperion resellers and there get the physical 3.2 CD, convert that to an ISO file, and for the update you will need the 3.2.3 archive file, which you can download from the Hyperion website. As I mentioned, in the install folder you can put licenses of, for example, the Roadshow 1.15, which is available from TCP. So it's the AmigaShop.org URL, and you have eyebrows, and you have still the old MUI, which you can buy a license if you want to. You don't need them, but it's optional, but it's nice to sponsor Amiga software development in general. So if you download all that stuff, you can place them into the folders. And if everything went okay, and now I will sneak a little bit, I will delete this folder and get a prepared folder that I already prepared earlier. And if you've done everything right, it should look something like this, where we have the install folder with the optional keys for eyebrows and the files for Roadshow and the MUI key. We have the AmigaOS folders, starting with 3.1. You can see here the floppies and the kickstart. 3.9, you have here the ISO file of the AmigaOS CD. The Boeing packs were already provided by ApolloBoot, and also the ROM. Amiga 3141, it's only the zip file with the files and the update zip file. And 3.2, it's a ISO file you created yourself from the physical AmigaOS 3.2 CD, and the 3.2.3 LHA file from the Hyperion website. So place this all in the folder, and then we can start with the next step, which is the actual installation. And the installation is possible in two ways. First, the turbo install, and the turbo install is using the emulator UAE to do the installation on your PC on Mac, and after installation you can flash the whole image to your CF card and you can go to the V4. The second install method is slow install. Then you do the flash of the image first to the CF card, you move over to your V4, and then you do the installation there from the source files that we copy then to a physical SD card. So let's do both so you can see how it works. So I presume you have already up and running the emulator. There's lots of videos about how to set up emulators. And in the emulator, you have a configuration file. This configuration file is loaded from the SD card folder, so you can really use it. If you click on it, it has all the configuration there, except you have to click on hard drives to make sure you point to your exact hard drive location. First of all, the image. So we're going to click path icon, and then we're going to click on the cfcard.image file. Okay, and the SD card is a folder, so we click on the folder icon here, and we click on the SD card folder. Okay, then we have to also configure where to find the ROM, and the ROM is provided as said in the Kickstart folder, also in the SD card folder. So please find it there. It should be called Apollo ROM UAE. And if you said that, then everything is clear to start the emulator. And when you start the emulator, you start ApolloBoot Solo. So basically, this is the first part of the turbo install. From here, it's just clicking which AmigaOS you want to install and start installing. Before you do that, you can click on the configure to do some configuration of the hard drive mode or the network settings or the time settings, but you can also do that later. So I'm going to just go on and install AmigaOS 3.2.3 here. Click on it. ApolloBoot will do some checks. It will ask me here if I want to do English only or all languages. Let's do English only. And from here it will do the installation completely automated from the provided AmigaOS 3.2 CD-ROM ISO file and the 3.2.3 update file. It will do the complete installation exactly the same as you would do when you do it the normal installation routine, except it will also do a lot of configuration and install some extra tools, so you get really a complete AmigaOS 3.2 up and running. This goes for all the AmigaOS in ApolloBoot Solo. So it finds my Roadshow file, so it will ask to switch the network settings to Roadshow, which obviously I want to. As said, it will install all nice kind of tools for networking and playing video, audio, displaying graphics, etc. So you really won't have to do much to play with the full AmigaOS 3.2.3 on your V4 after this. Okay, so the image is finished now. So the turbo install is completed. We can do two things. We can right away flash this to the CF card and start it on the V4, but we can also do a check on the emulator if the installation went okay. For that, we just finish the emulator for now. Then we change the ROM because we are going to run AmigaOS now in the emulator. We have to find the correct ROM, which is the A4000-47115.ROM. It is actually on your AmigaOS 3.2 CD image file, so located there in the ROM folder, and you can select it then here in your emulator. That's the only thing you have to change. You click on Start again, and instead of starting ApolloBoot Solo, it will start now the complete AmigaOS 3.2.3 in your emulator. The ApolloBoot Solo installation has cleaned up everything itself, so it's really a clean installation you will see here. So again, it's the same as you would do it manually, only this will save you a lot of work, and I think it has a very complete configuration. So let's enjoy this on the V4. Let's quit, let's leave it this way. That would be okay, and then we can just switch over to the desktop, and there we start Balena Etcher, which is the favorite tool to be used to flash images. We put in the CF card. It will give us a warning that the CF card is not recognized by the operating system because macOS, they don't know anything about Amiga. That's completely normal. Ignore. Flash from file. We click on the image again, the image we just configured, and then we say continue. Select the CF card I just inserted, and then do flash. Yes, I'm very sure. Okay. So this is now flashing the image, and it will also do a verify. Please let the verify complete because there can always be something wrong. And after it's validated, you can safely remove the CF card. And we will now switch to another display mode so we can follow what is going on at the V4. Okay, so let's turn here the emulator again. So this is the 3.2.3 on UAA in the left top corner. And now we're going to switch off the V4 like this. And we're going to turn it on again. And if everything went okay, then also now on the V4, we should see the similar AmigaOS 3.2.3 workbench appearing, and which means that we have completed successfully our installation with ApolloBoot Solo. Congratulations. But I promised you to also show the second installation method. Oh, this is also nice. It sees now that I first run the image on the emulator and now running the image on the V4, and it wants to do some settings because there's of course difference in hardware between the two. This goes all automatically, so you can switch the CF card also between different V4s and even connect it back to your emulator if you want to. So see if this looks okay. It looks okay. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the slow install method. The slow install method actually requires us to copy the contents of the SD card, so the complete contents of this card, to a physical SD card, which I'm going to insert now in my computer. And we have to make sure that we copy the content of the SD card folder, so not the SD card folder itself, just the content, everything. Select everything. And we have to copy it to the root of the physical SD card. So on my Mac it goes like this. But I'm sure you know how to copy files from A to B, so no worries here. Let this finish, and then on V4 I'm going to switch off because we will need to do the same again. Okay, SD card is now finished. Okay, rejected. So because this CF card contained an already configured AmigaOS, I'm going to insert it again, and then I'm going to use Valina Etcher to flash a clean version of the CF. So now I'm going to go back here to my downloads folder, just like this. I'm going to remove the image file because this is the configured image file that I already flashed to my CF card before. Just delete it, and I'm going to click on the archive again to create a new image file, which I'm going to flash right away now to my physical CF card. So I have a blank ApolloBoot Solo CF card flashed, which I'm going to use in my V4 to do the slow install method. So it's flashing, validating. Okay, interesting, it's ready. So now again, we put this in the V4. The SD card, normally a micro SD will go here in the back, but I have a very nice secondary SD card slot attached to my V4, which uses the full size SD, which I like better because they're better for my fingers. Can easily insert them and remove them. I'm gonna turn on my V4 again. So if everything is going okay, then ApolloBoot Solo should now boot here on my V4 from the CF card, and we can do the exact same installation we did before on the emulator, but now we do it on the V4. Let's take another OS. Let's take 3.1, and here again it will check all things. It will now use the SD card as a source for the mounting of the AmigaOS 3.1 floppies, because 3.1 was still an OS that was completely installed from floppies. I believe 6 or something. You can see them here: install, system locale, extra fonts. So it's really doing automated what you normally were doing, just jockeying on your old Amiga. So it will prepare all the AmigaOS parts. It will do the installation of the drivers, the Apollo Saga and IHI drivers, to make sure you have full graphics, audio, you have everything optimal configured to be using the hardware of the V4. And again, also for AmigaOS 3.1, like for all the OSs, it will install nice tools like the icon library from Peter Koenigke. Of course, the MUI and Picasso for the graphics, and also some other stuff for networking like the SSL library and eyebrows. Some viewers for viewing of different data types, JPEG, TIFF, PNG, etc. We have, of course, the file manager, Opus, Mystic View for viewing, and the excellent Riva video player, which is really excellent now in 840 by 480 resolution. Smooth playing, you really have to see it working. So it's configuring now, and let it end, and then we should just have to do a reboot, and then we are already finished. And we have seen two types of installation: turbo install and the slow install, which is basically the same procedure. The first one on the emulator and then on the V4. The second one is right away to the V4, installing from the SD card as source. And as we will see in a moment, it will give exactly the same end results. So please choose whatever method you like. I can imagine that if you don't want to go to all the hassle of setting up the emulator, maybe the slow install, which is actually not that slow, because what you see here is real time, and what time spent, well, maybe 10-15 minutes. That's all you need to do a complete AmigaOS 3.2.3, 3.1.41, 3.9 or 3.1 installation. So all favorite Amiga OSs with ApolloBoot Solo on your V4. Reboot. And if it's rebooting now, I have been successful in this instruction video. This can happen, live demo. just press Control Amiga. It has something to do with the somewhat older 3.1 ROMs and the quick timings of the V4. So sometimes there's a little bit too fast booting of the V4, and then the ROMs, they don't line up with the, how do you say, the reset of the IDE bus. We might be finding a solution for it. It only happens once every 10 times or so, but of course, in this demo, it happens. That's good, because you have to see what's really happening and not have a smoothly edited video with all the raw edges out of it. That's not real life. That's not how it works. Okay. Well, luckily for me, it's running now the AmigaOS 3.1. So I will end this quick video guide here. I hope you enjoy it. Please use the guide to help you with the ApolloBoot Solo installation and have some fun. See you later.